Okay, here's part two of just another look at modes. We went through Gary Burton's bright to dark modal concept, and you know what? I think Pat Cloud calls that the natural order. I think that's what he calls that, and that's what he's been teaching for years and years and years. So I probably should have gotten it before, but I'm a little thick, so maybe it's expected. We finished up with chords in a parent key that emphasize the sound of the modal idea that you're playing, and we left off with Lydian. So now I'm going to go to mixolydian. Mixolydian, and these are all G-centered modes. Mixolydian is a dominant 7 chordal sound, so it's like a G7. Well, a G7 is the 5 chord of the key of C major. So our parent key is C major. Well, what's the 4 and 5 of C major? F and G. F and G. And what you'll recognize is this is a kind of a little lesson in where some of these modal sounds came from in the great jazz artists of the 50s and 60s. And this one is, by the way, I'm going to throw on a little maybe concept idea at either the end of this one, depending on how long I go, or in another one that's a comping lesson that I learned from a pianist that McCoy Tyner, who was a famous John Coltrane band pianist, used voicings in fourths in a Dorian mode. So that's a really fun thing. It sounds great over tunes like So What, things like that. Anyway, back to mixolydian. This is well, the parent key is C major. I'll just play it from a G. Here's the parent key. Okay, so that's the parent key, but this is the chord. So, oh yeah, my point is the 4 and 5s that you'll hear here are the same kind of 4 and 5s that you hear in So What. Well, a G, I don't want to, this is going to, stay with me please. This is a G7, but D minor to G7 is basically the same harmonic movement. So that's a 2-5. Well, So What is in D minor, Dorian, and it uses that 4 and 5 in the same way that we're using it here in mixolydian. Uses the 4 and 5 of the 5 chords modal sound. I think that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, so here's the mixolydian. Well, here's the 4 and 5. mixolydian. Okay, next, aeolian. Let's move along. Aeolian, G aeolian, B flat major. Well, B flat major, the 4 chords in E flat, right? The 5 chords in F. So now, aeolian, G aeolian in rock and roll, it's that what you would hear right away would be. That's of course G minor, F, E flat, F, which is what we just played. Right, so that's common. That tells you right away that it's an aeolian or bluesy type mode in that case. Okay, last one, locrian. Okay, so now we got G minor 7 flat 5. What the heck do you do with that? Well, it's a locrian mode. Now on this one, I playing the 4. We're in A flat major. The basic idea that I stick by to emphasize the locrian sound is you got to land on a chord tone, because if you land anywhere else, you're landing on something that emphasizes the major scale, and all you're going to hear is this. Now we're back. That's what it's going to sound. The problem here is this tritone. I'm playing. It's got a flat 9 in it. That's the mode, but the tritone is the locrian mode is really, if you play that, in this case a G minor 7 flat 5 chord, it's really just the first extension of a E flat 7. So E flat up to G minor 7 flat 5. It's just extending the dominant chord, so it has many of the properties of a dominant chord. It's really strong leading to want to go oh yeah, that's where it wants to go. Well, I can't land on one of those 2 notes, or else I'm going to feel like I'm in A flat major, not G locrian. And there's the 4 chord, D flat, E flat. But even if you play at a 4 and a 5 there, it sounds like you want to go. Yeah, but we don't want that. We don't want that. We want. Playing the 7, the G minor 7 flat 5, and going down and playing the 6th chord, which is an F minor. So I can play. Anyway, so there's that example. This is a 10-minute lesson, so I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to show that I'm going to do that Dorian McCoy Tyner comping lesson in a different video. Okay, I hope that's helpful. sometimes I think we just need ways of hearing these modal sounds, and once we hear them, we understand them a little bit better. Understanding them theoretically is really difficult for some people. It was for me, if you don't really hear what it is that you're dealing with. So there you go. That's the 7 modes of major from a couple of different perspectives.